Premium Times report uncovers National Assembly support for Samoa deal signing despite public pushback. As Nigerians continue to groan over economic hardship, clerics call for expedited relief. Bandits abduct female correctional staff from home in Gusau. On the international scene, Rwanda heads to polls with President Kagame expected to secure a fourth term. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. For joining us and now the details. The National Assembly lobbied the Nigerian government to sign the Samoa Agreement Premium Times report. A letter from the National Assembly to the Minister of Budgets and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, dated May 9, 2024, urged the government to endorse the agreement and settle all outstanding obligations to the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States and European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly. This contradicts claims by the lawmakers that they were not involved in the agreement. The letter signed by Mohammed Argungu on behalf of the clerk of the National Assembly, Sani Tambawal, shows that the National Assembly participated as observers and nominated a candidate for the Joint Parliamentary Assembly. House spokesperson Akin Rotimi declined to the comment, reciting and citing an ongoing House committee investigation. The Samoa Agreement, a legal framework between the EU and more than half of the 79 OACP's members, has sparked controversy in Nigeria. Daily Trust reported alleged LGBT rights clauses leading to public backlash. Despite denials, the House of Representatives, led by Deputy Minority Leader Aliyu Madaki, urged the government to suspend the agreement's implementation over alleged clauses. Meanwhile, the National Media Complaints Commission, also known as Ombudsman, has issued a formal request to Daily Trust for a response regarding the federal government's complaint about the newspaper's report on the Samoa Agreement. In a letter dated July 12, signed by Faye Smith, the interim secretary of the commission, Daily Trust is required to submit a formal response to allegations from the Ministry of Information and National Orientation. The ministry claims that the Daily Trust report on Samoa Agreement constituted fake news and was published with the intent of inciting public unrest. Reacting to the development, the group chief executive officer, editor-in-chief, Print, Ahmed I. Shekarau, stated that the newspaper will respond to the ombudsman's letter within the specified time frame. In its letter of complaint signed by Dr. Ngozi Onwudiwe, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, the federal government asserted that the content of the report was misleading. The federal government's demand to the ombudsman include directives of the management of the Daily Trust to publicly retract and correct the alleged false information with the same level of prominence as the original article. Additionally, they request that Daily Trust issue an unequivocal apology for what they described as reckless dissemination of false information. Amidst Nigeria's harsh economic conditions, religious and political leaders in Kaduna are urging the government to swiftly implement measures to aid citizens struggling to afford basic necessities. The clerics also cautioned against introducing policies that do not comprehensively address the nation's wide-ranging economic and political challenges. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more on the story.
Residents face an uphill battle affording basic foodstuffs as prices skyrocket, exacerbated by limited income to support their families.
Cost
of living is high. We the poor people are in difficult situation. We find it difficult to get food. It's difficult to get money now and things are difficult. We are just managing life. We could buy one measure of rice before, but now we could only afford half or a quarter of a measure to feed our family.
The common man is suffering nowadays, as food is beyond the reach of the poor in this country. Many people eat only 1 square meal a day. I am calling on the government to look into our plight because we voted for them and we are in a difficult situation with many youth without jobs. Stakeholders warn against violence as Nigerian youth prepare for a planned mass protest highlighting nationwide hardships. If there is proper arrangement and an orderly manner, it is good for people to come out and express their grievances, but in most cases, hoodlums may hijack the protest and cause chaos.
Always the purpose for which such calls are made are not adhered to. Social media, all what I've been hearing and seeing for the call for this demonstration was not taken from an angle that will give us result. It is very aggressive. The call is too aggressive. So you can't expect anything good to come from the demonstration.
The controversial Samoa Agreement signed by the federal government remains a hot topic among religious clerics.
These agreements threatened to erode the moral fabric of our society and are a direct violation of our religious and cultural principles. We urge the public to remain vigilant and to stand firm in defense of our values and culture.
What will affect our religion? That's what we're saying no. All three monotheistic religion of Judaism, mainly followed by Jews and other people, Christianity, followed by almost every tribe and race on earth, Islam, the same thing. We are standing on these three monotheistic religion, that's a religion of Abraham. We're saying no. They should return back their law. If there's no law, let us suffer. We are suffering. There's hunger, there's poverty.
Meanwhile, some believe that the Samoa issue has been politicized.
We therefore strongly condemn the politicization of the Samoa Agreement by politicians. It is crucial to note that there is no mention of LGBT in the agreement, and therefore the unnecessary, controversial, unwarranted. We urge Nigerians to look beyond the rhetoric and not disguise the benefit of the Samoa Agreement, particularly in the challenged times. Nigerians greatly require foreign aid to address pressing issues.
Nigerians believe governments must show greater commitment to addressing the current challenges. Bello Musa, Cross TV News Kaduna.
Security matters. Bandits have abducted a superintendent of correctional service, the SCS, of the Medium Security Custodial Center, Gusau, Hajara Ibrahim. The incident occurred at her matrimonial home around midnight on Saturday. The incident was confirmed in a statement issued on Sunday night by Correctional Public Relations Officer, the CPRO of Zamfara State Command, Mustafa Abubakar. According to the statement, the victim was the 2IC in charge of the operations at the Medium Security Custodial Center, Gusau. The abductors reportedly took several handsets belonging to the relatives and husband of the abducted staff. The statement further said efforts are ongoing to secure her release. The Nigerian Air Force says the air component of Operation Wellstroke has eliminated scores of terrorists in recent airstrikes in their enclaves at Giwa and Igabi local government areas of Kaduna State. This is contained in a statement by the Director of Public Relations and Information, NAF, AVM, Edward Gapquet, on Sunday in Abuja. Gapquet said the air operations had continued unabated with remarkable levels of success being recorded despite the weather challenges hampering ongoing efforts to diminish the capabilities of criminal elements in the northwest. He said one of the strikes was carried out on Friday at Alhaji Lais Enclave, situated in Kufanshantu village in Giwa local government area. Gapquet said that their logistics stocked under thick foliage were also destroyed, adding that similar airstrikes conducted on Saturday over terrorist camps inside Malum Forest in Igabi local government area also recorded positive outcomes. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum stated that the recent suicide bomb attacks in Goza local government will not derail his administration's efforts to resettle displaced persons. Returning to Maiduguri after a month-long vacation abroad, Zulum described the attacks as unfortunate, particularly as the state is seeing an increase in Boko Haram surrenders. He pledged to invest more in agriculture to combat food insecurity and partner with the federal government to ensure food production in Borno. Zulum also commended the federal government's support for a successful Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca.
Very unfortunate for what has happened in Goza. At this very important time while we are celebrating the exit of Boko Haram insurgency in Borno State, we witness the series of bomb attacks, especially in Goza. And I believe it's an act of sabotage at this time because we are looking forward to seeing how we shall resettle people back to their communities. And I think some don't like the resettlement agenda of Borno State. And I want to appeal to the people of Goza that they should remain calm, law abiding, and partner with the federal government and state government with a view to ensuring that IDPs are resettled back to their communities. Government from here up to the end of my administration will concentrate on money, expand area to the continent and ensure that there is increased food production in the state. Government will provide seeds to farmers and then will partner with the federal government of Nigeria with the view to ensure food security and food sustainability in the state.
Farmers and herders in Plateau State have expressed their views on the newly inaugurated Renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu inaugurated the committee on Wednesday at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, aiming to address the prolonged farmer-herder conflicts in the country. Trustee Visado Musa has more.
This is not about politics. This is about opportunity. This is about our nation.
Before the recent pronouncement by the Tinubu administration, several administrations in the past have tried to reform the livestock sector with little or no success. Initiatives such as Ruga Policy, National Livestock Transformation Plan, Livestock Intervention Program, and ranching were experimented with to help mitigate farmer-herder clashes in Nigeria. Before the recent pronouncement by the Tinubu administration, several administrations in the past have tried to reform the livestock sector with little or no success. Initiatives such as Ruga Policy, National Livestock Transformation Plan, Livestock Intervention Program, and ranching were experimented with to help mitigate farmer-herder clashes in Nigeria. Plateau State has been one of the hardest hit by this crisis, with both farmers and herders frequently accusing each other of atrocities, leading to significant loss of lives and properties. The leadership of the farming and herding communities in Plateau State have expressed their views on the President Tinubu's inauguration of the Renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee.
It's a right thing in a right direction, because that is what we have been agitating for. And this thing is going to develop the livestock industry in Nigeria, and the objective of which include employment opportunities, improvement in meat supply.
Honestly, for those of us that have been following the trend of events for decades that has to do with the problem of herders farmers clashes, when we had the committee has been set up, we welcome it. It's a very good step, but you cannot say exactly whether the committee is going to do what is expected.
Agriculture and livestock experts have expressed their views on the inauguration of the Renewed Hope Livestock Reform Implementation Committee, highlighting its significance for resolving farmer-herder conflicts.
The livestock industry have been neglected long time. First and foremost, you know, the herders are also farmers, especially the sedentary herders we have. We are always interdependent. Some come to your farm and graze and settle and leave to another for you to have manure, which is very, very much in use those days when the chemical fertilizer was not around.
We are in a country of one citizen. There are a lot of people, a lot of other organizations that have been enjoying government support. But if you look at the livestock industry, apart from the vaccine production that the National Veterinary Research Institute produces and then being subsidized to the livestock farmers, there's nothing that you can see that the livestock farmer is enjoying from government. And we are in the same country, and then we are all doing this to develop our country. And if you look at the livestock industry, the GDP from livestock industry alone, if being harnessed, it's not going to be a very small GDP that the livestock industry will boost to this country. And it will not only be on the livestock farmers, it will affect every Nigerian within the country.
Dr. Abdurrahman Imran, a senior lecturer at the Center for Conflict Management and Peace Studies at the University of Jos, and a resource person at the Center for Peace and Initiative Development, stated that while the initiative is a welcome development, certain issues must be addressed for it to succeed.
If the president will take a strategic decision to address the security issues, farmers being killed on the farmland, because the idea of the use of farmer-aiders conflict has been politicized itself, what I said earlier. The meaning of that is multiple. One is the natural ethnicizing of the conflict itself, to say that all aiders are Fulanis and then the other farmers are other ethnic groups, which is not true. And because the former president was a Fulani man, that also affected the acceptability of some of the policies of the government to respond. And then the political elites are part of the Nigerian problems. So what was wrong with the Ruga policy? What was wrong with the grazing reserve policy?
Stakeholders have expressed satisfaction with the direction of the new initiative, with the hope that it won't be politicized like previous efforts by past administrations. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
This is Trust News Update. Coming up, health experts encourage consumption of nutritious and healthy vegetables amid limited options in circulation. These and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is Trust News Update. Here's a recap of our top stories. Premium Times report uncovers National Assembly support for Samoa deal signing despite public pushback. And as Nigerians continue to groan over economic hardship, clerics call for expedited relief. Moving on to more stories, the police command in Kaduna State said it has banned all forms of unlawful gathering by the proscribed Islamic Movement of Nigeria, the IMN, including its planned Ashura procession. The command spokesperson, ASP Mansur Hassan, announced the ban in a statement issued on Sunday in Kaduna. Hassan said the command has banned every manner of illegal protest in the state. Hassan said the command will not hesitate to bring the full weight of the law to bear on any person or group, especially the outlawed IMN members that dared to violate the ban. He said the Commissioner of Police Kaduna State Command, Ali Dabigi, has called on all law-abiding persons to go about their lawful endeavors without fear. He equally said that the hard-earned relative peace in the state can never be compromised by the selfish defiance of few. Seasonal vegetables like cucumbers and golden melons offer various health benefits, including reducing inflammation and providing prophylactic and therapeutic effects. Nutritionists recommend consuming these vegetables with their peels and seeds for maximum health benefits. Victoria Tokolo has more in this report following an interview with a health dietitian. Her report is presented from our studio.
Vegetable foods provide extensive health benefits that support overall well-being. Nutritionists emphasize that vegetables like cucumbers and golden melons offer maximum benefits when consumed in their natural states. Dietitian Olajumoke Jones highlights the importance of eating these vegetables with their peels intact, as modern food processing and preservation methods can reduce their medicinal values.
Cucumbers help in losing weight because, like I said, it's 95% water, contains 95% water, and it's low in calories. Same with your golden melon. A cup of that golden melon has about almost 10 to 15 grams of carbohydrates actually. Right? It also has its own natural sugars, alright, the peels. So ideally, when we are taking our fruits like cucumbers and golden melon, we're not supposed to make the peels of these fruits, okay, because they have the fiber content of these fruits, right? But why people tend to remove the peels? Because most of these fruits now, most farmers spray pesticides on them to preserve it. Okay, so and to reduce the risk of being exposed to this pesticide, patients or people tend to remove the peel. So it now boils down to preference. Alright, so but ideally you're not supposed to remove the peels of your cucumber and your golden melon.
Buyers and sellers of cucumbers and golden melons lament the high cost of these vegetables, attributing the cost increase to the long distance traveled to procure them.
I bought 2 for 500. Very, very expensive. Unusually. You buy this, you can buy like 5 for 500. That means 1 for 100. Because of the increase in price of everything, now we are just buying just 2 for 500. I even have to beg this man if I can sell it for 500. So the thing is very, very expensive. Not like before. It's too expensive.
We sell kumba 500, 400. About golden melon 500, 600, 300, 400. Now, in the different any price.
Nutritionists advise consuming vegetables like cucumber and golden melons as close to their natural state as possible directly from the farm to retain their nutritional benefits.
From the international scene, millions of Rwandans are set to vote in a presidential election on Monday, with President Paul Kagame, Rwanda's de facto leader since the end of the 1994 genocide and president since 2000, expected to secure an easy victory due to severe restrictions on opposition figures and enduring popular support. Parliamentary elections are also taking place with more than 500 candidates vying for 80 seats. Paul Kagame faces only 2 challenges after several prominent critics were barred from contesting election. The leader of the Democratic Green Party, Frank Habineza, and independent candidate Felipe Mpanyamana were the only 2 candidates approved to run against Kagame out of the 8 applicants. And finally, in sports, the final league match of 2024 Rising Stars Football League has ended after 22 weeks of league football among 12 teams in the Federal Capital Territory. Trust TV's sport correspondent Adeni Ajishafe has more.
Future Guaranteed FC in white versus blue jersey Delhi Fresh FC squared up in the week 22 of the first edition of Rising Star Football League at Buhari Township Stadium, with both sides missing chances in the early minutes of the match during the thrilling encounter. Delhi Fresh FC were fighting to make Super 4, while Future Guarantee were playing for pride of being the league leaders. Isaac Peter broke the deadlock in the 44th minute for Future Guarantee to solidify their position as number 1 on the league table. Meanwhile, Olalekan Lufemi instantly replied to make it 1-1 from a pull-out to give Delhi Fresh FC hope in the 43 minutes before the half-time whistle. Olalekan Lufemi was brought down to earn a free kick for his team that was played wide. The second half did not produce more goals as both teams earned a point. MVP Victor Samuel expresses happiness for winning the league while his coach explains further.
In our training,
we used to train, based on this tournament, we used to train every day. So we deserve it.
This league gave us a very, very, very wonderful way to prepare, to practice what we have been doing. Because most time when we play tournament, we play 7 matches, 8 matches, you are champion, and you think you have done well. But this particular league, when you play 22 matches, you have time to plan. You have, when you don't do well, you go back to training ground.
Daily Fresh FC coach Oguchi Anthony ruled his team's chances.
I know it was going to be a very difficult match, playing against a team that has won the league already. And I know that the team is a very good team, and I've watched them play, and the team is a standard team. I'm just getting better, gradually.
2013 AFCON winner Oshaniwa believed the RSFL platform deserved commendation for setting up such a league for talent discovery.
With this initiative the RSL has brought, I think it's a good journey and good hope for the young talent.
Project supervisor of the league said RSFL is out to create a solid platform to develop a grassroots football in Nigeria.
We're thinking of something we could bring that could actually help. So we were thinking of, it's not just football, we were thinking of where we are going to channel it that is going to cover a lot of youths. And I realized that there's nothing more uniting and more entertaining than football in Nigeria. You understand, even music, you can't compare. The love of football is unlimited in Nigeria. It goes extreme, it reaches every end. And that's the only thing we could do that could actually touch a lot of lives.
Future Guaranteed FC lifted 2024 Rising Star Football League trophy in jubilation after a marathon of 22 weeks to emerge winners of the season with 52 points. That's Sport News. I'm Adini Ajishafe.
And with that, we wrap up a Trust News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.